So the following day, Dorothy logs into the same application, whether on her iPad or her laptop or the website. And from the user interface, she types in her credentials, except because she's a sales rep and these are sales rep credentials, she'll have a slightly different interface. From here, she can look at her profile, which is slightly different. We denote what her home address and her district office are. Perhaps her preferred driving distance. So this is a 60-mile radius from where she works. We know that she'll probably be able to cover that ground, although the actual maps would probably be a bit more district-shaped rather than circular. You also can search for a member, and then the most important part, the appointments. So from here, we can actually see these are the appointments that are scheduled out for me on my workday. It's Thursday, I can jump into the next day's or next week's appointments. But I can see exactly where they are and what route I'm going to take in order to get there, and then what their interests are. So John Smith from before has an interest in bathrooms, and the next one has kitchens and flooring. I'm going to click the load button, which is going to put John Smith's user information directly below. And by doing this, I can actually answer some questions he has. Hey, I bought this sink, and I had a chipping problem. Is that covered by the warranty? Well, let's see. We can dive into your warranties, and I can answer your question. But most importantly, we also have access to his wish lists. So here we can see that master bath idea that we designed yesterday. We can also see that he's designed a second one that's about twice the cost. So I'm going to select them, just like with the product comparison, I can compare my wish lists. And I can see, heads up, what the difference is between these two designs that I've come up with. At any time, just like before, I can click on these icons. It'll take me back to that product, and I can pick it out, a different option, very visually. And then when I'm happy, I can click Add to Cart. Now, adding to the cart, we have our ever-persistent menu. We can dive into that cart and then see what we've placed there. A visual representation of that, as well as additional things that the sales rep can enter. Here we have labor. We can pop that out and see what constitutes that. These are not actual numbers. These are just made up by me, but it does give you an idea of how we can come up to some fairly good estimations off the bat. They designed the space, the total man hours, the fees involved, so we know it's about that price. We also have access to our discounts. So we have this today in CM. We would be replacing it here. As a rep, you could put in the type of offer that you wanted. And then the final price would be at the bottom. Now, a really cool feature here is this ability to up and down any of these options. Now, this wouldn't be available in all products, but in some of them, we do. In Weather Beater, we have Weather Beater and Weather Beater Plus and Weather Beater Max, although those names might have changed. I think we changed the branding. That's a very clear linear progression. So here's the bottom unit. It's 700, this is 750, this is 1200. That progression of upgrading your choices is there. Now, these are all sensible because they actually match what the customer picked. Because it's not just the type of product that they pick, it's also the choices inside of there. So we picked a shower that was red and it had a caddy. We have another shower here that is blue but doesn't have a caddy. So this isn't a valid upgrade path. So this sort of rules-based approach to upgrading a product, or an articulate one where we say ahead of time, hey, this is going to be the upgrade for this, and that one has another upgrade.
So this would prevent me from selling equipment that doesn't match.
Our template system does. Previously, you saw the vanity had certain slots that we could fill. In the template for, you can have a sink, you can have a faucet, you can have this other thing, we also define a way of limiting what products can go together. So if you pick a particular faucet that requires a sunken sink, the non-sunken sinks would no longer be valid options. So that's where we would put that. All right, so that's no longer an option. Now, because we have this progression where we can upgrade individual parts and up and down the price, it's like, oh yeah, that's the bathroom I want. I need that red, but maybe drop it by $100. Can you do something? Well, we've already given you a discount. Let's see if we can lower the quality of that product to a lower grade tier. It makes perfect sense to then say, well, what about a universal slider? What if I want to take the entire proposal and slide it to the left or slide it to the right? You could do that at the bottom. So you could watch the price go up and down. And then when you're happy with it, you say, I'm going to purchase this. It takes you to the payment where you enter in your information, if it's a direct bank transfer, I don't know how we do it. And then, of course, to the contract sign, where the customer can close the deal and we start making money. All right, that is the user interface.